Devendra bhai, we can start. Devendra bhai, we are ready. As soon as you're ready, you can
Okay,
start.
perfect. We're ready. Let's do it. All right. Jitendra, everybody, and happy Diwali and New Year's and all celebrations that are coming up. So today we're going to go over the medical, if you like, side of the human body system and perception. We had a good talk just about perception, how powerful it is to perceive your body. It's almost like an Atma thing, Atma kind of activity, which news to all of us learning. We're learning a lot together with you. But a very, very important talk yesterday. So we're just going to the physical side and system so that you're ready for the next phase in a few weeks. We're going to talk about the medical aspects, and it also helps you connect with the talk yesterday. All right. So basically, we're going to talk about the cell structure and function, organization of tissues, organs, body systems, liver and nervous system, cellular system, some respiratory. We did cover it with breathing, some digestive, endocrine, and urinary system. And then we talked about the position of the body yesterday, so we'll keep that a little simpler. So let's go to the cellular structure and function. This is a key part of understanding how our body works. So hopefully it's helpful and interesting for you if you're not at all in that area. So cell is important, right? It has a factory, an engine, a brain. It has everything you might imagine, and then more. Every year or so, we find more complexity in the cell. We didn't know about the way the cells talk to each other, interact. It almost getting close to things like every cell has a mini brain in it, which is as opposed to just reactive. So you do have quite a few changes in how we understand the cell that are occurring. And it's DNA and protein and chemicals, interactions and calcium and minerals, and all vital and very finely tuned for it to work. Otherwise, you'll get sick, which is what happens in many times when you present to a physician. Usually, groove similar cells with varying functions will make an organ. They usually have cues from the tissue around to let them know what to turn into. And then they have a cue that tells them to be a muscle or nerve, but the base origin is the same. And then it becomes a split. At some point, the split then becomes down that path, but originally they are basically the same. So then, of course, organs work together, and then you don't really think those cells are doing the job. You start thinking of the systems and nervous, and so you start thinking of bigger picture. But essentially, it's to the cell level that things are working. Okay. And of course, all the medications and all the things we talk about with therapy, they work at the cell level. Fundamental components of the human body, clearly, apart from the microcells, they have energy. So the energy is basically how activity occurs, activity, energy, the prana that we talked about yesterday. It's all related to how cells do act. Their action, which may be function in terms of movement, function in terms of messaging, function in terms of swelling, shrinking, absorbing. So which are functions, they need energy. And they also renew. The cells have an ability to renew. And generally, the renewal is because they have at the bottom or in that area, in some crypt or some base area, something called the stem cells. And these cells are like your progenitor. They're the ones that then can develop into the cells that are working. They're like your root, and they develop, multiply the messaging, and where they are helps the cells become what they are. And so stem cells are important, and certainly as we go deeper, we'll talk about the medical parts. There's an issue with stem cells and how meditation may be working there. Each organ regenerates or resides on its own pace. So the GI tract is just a few days to a week, and you get a new because so many infections, so many things happening. your body likes to shed that and get new cells. It's often why you get better within a week, most times, because you shed your old cells and your new cells are going to be healthy. Fat cells can live for years, and neurons can live for a lifetime. So their life is variable based on what the function is. How do the organization, tissue, organs, and body systems? So, an overview of that again. So clearly, lots of organs, and we just basically highlight the main ones we're going to talk about today. So generally, each area by cell multiplication develops your organ, and each area there is influence of your genetics, what you had from your parentage. So that kind of guides it. Of course, the location and function guides it, but then the genetics puts an imprint on good, strong, weak in terms of medical issues, medical methods. From a religious point of view, probably you talk about Gotra and Nam, like that. But here, it's medically, it's kind of like your genes that you get from mother or father and how they interact to develop that organ. And then, as you mentioned earlier, if you are going to be a bone cell, the tissue in that area will give you feedback that this is who you are. So then the messaging goes back and forth, and that cell develops bone products and becomes bone and forgets the muscle and forgets the nerve and forgets the heart. It just becomes bone. And that stem cell becomes a bone stem cell. They can't go backwards to others. That's how the body works. And of course, then they combine. Of course, each organ might have vessels like everybody else has. It might have muscles also like other parts. But then the main function of the organ is then defined by these cells. And the nervous system, for example, controls and coordinates all the body functions. And so for those cells will in the brain be central, in the tissues will be peripheral, like your outside nerves. So there are nerves that have ability to kind of more or less, of course, all organs, but even to the point of almost most functioning cells, the nerves get to not necessarily the bone, the skin, but certainly many, many areas, the nerves end up getting there. And then the nerves also control, in a way, the endocrine glands by telling them to secrete hormones. So they even control your hormones, which then further do that function. So the nerves are very central to how your tissues interrelate and crosstalk, even at the point of engaging your hormones. The nervous system structure and function. So we'll talk about that system. So again, you've heard this before, and again, I don't mind repeating because at some point it becomes so in you that you'll be able to talk very freely. So we have the central nervous system, and then the spinal nerve. So that's like somatic nerves in medicine, and there's susumna in yogic. So that's somatic or susumna, they kind of spinal cord. And then they have many branches that serve, as I mentioned, your peripheral, which is your outside system, and then they'll communicate back and forth, and they kind of basically help you throughout your life in managing. And so some of these cells, because of memory and important, they know what they know from when you had your learning. These nerve centers can live the whole life. They actually have a long life, so they keep continuity. So it's a very unusual and peculiar part. Then you have nerves that are, so nerves kind of have a sheath that's like a wire at home, and you have a sheath on top, like they're black or red. Nerves have that called myelin that helps the conduction go through. Then we have a whole bunch of nerves that don't have the myelin. They're just demyelinated nerves. They're just functioning nerves. They then go to your skin, many areas, even your shin at the bottom. And they are often renowned to dull pain. They're often the ones that bring dull pain to message you. So we need them. They're functioning everywhere. So that's kind of how the nervous system works. And of course, it controls the organs, talks to organs, it tells organs when things is needed. It's a very important part of our progression to knowing what to do. The nervous system, this is the chapter we got it from, just to show you where I get this from. It coordinates all function. And then the peripheral one, that also includes your autonomic system. We talked about that. Just to refresh you, it's your parasympathetic and sympathetic. And again, some of you went over it yesterday, and we did the day before. So you've got the materials, but that's all part of the peripheral nervous system. So all crosstalk and sort of work together to make you function in a stable fashion. And this is another chapter of the book that we're going to get to, which talks about nervous system function and neurons. There are about 10 billion neurons transmit impulses from thoughts and sensitivities. It's a huge number. And it detects issues, talks to you, talk back. So it's kind of working. Now you're listening to me or not listening, but your nerves are doing a whole bunch of work to make it work constantly, like micro seconds at a time. They're literally constantly working. And then, of course, the brain has areas that are important that you probably need to know about. And in some words, don't need to know all of it, but the forebrain is important when we talk about nerve issues. And later on, know there's a midbrain, hindbrain, the back. Hindbrain is part of the skull, your brain, but then you have the cerebellum, which is another part of the brain at the back. And so, and then within the brain, you have the hypothalamus and medulla. So I think I have an image somewhere, but important thing is these words will come back and it's someone will click to. But these all areas, some of the areas that the deeper meditations and some of the pranayam act on. So it's good to sort of understand them as we move forward in the next several weeks, because you'll have a grasp of where things are working. We know a lot about where meditation and pranayam works on these areas. We know a lot. And of course, spinal cord we know, and command to muscles. Okay, so now we're going to the vascular system. System, of course, we need that to have oxygen. We talk about oxygen, of course, length. Again, this is in your book. And the role of sensory organs are to collect information. And then the RAS, which is the reticular activating system, filters signals for your understanding what's going on. So we have like a system, organs and messages. It comes, and then we have the RS system, which then sends it to our awareness at some level, and that awareness is what we act on. There, of course, automatic is happening, but then when things are a little bit needing our help, it'll come to awareness. Like I'm breathing too fast, slow down, my heart is going too fast. Maybe I'll sit down before I faint. Like we have that messaging that becomes conscious. They're, of course, very important in transferring nutrients. Oxygen we talked about, antibodies and all the things that help us fight infections, but also all your hormones and other messengers that help you work. So again, this is an area that sometimes the techniques you're learning work on these areas. The heart itself, of course, is a very powerful pump. It pumps throughout your life, and it's a wonderful organ, very well served. And it achieves a high rate of supply to your body. And that's why you have to look after it, which, of course, we'll touch on when we talk about diseases of the heart. The blood goes to arteries, to capillaries, which are the tiny ones that actually feed the tissue. The arteries and arterioles are just delivery. Then they control and gate. Then the capillaries start feeding, and then the venules, it comes back, and lymphatics, and you start getting all the waste products, not just the carbon dioxide, other waste products come back to your system. Some to the liver, some go to everywhere. So you got a nice process to kind of work. And of course, all mammals have the same thing. But if you look at the work that the heart does, you will see why you have to look after it. You won't have to convince yourself, it'll become obvious. All right. And then capillaries and composition, we talked a little bit about that. So capillary exchange really is key. And again, this book you're going to get has that in there. And of course, this presentation. They're tiny vessels where oxygen and nutrients pass to the cells. But then other things exchange. So capillaries are very important. And so you want to have lots of space and, if you like, no pressure on your tissues to let the capillaries do the thing, and again, yoga does very relax very well. So you can imagine how much we're helping these organs and these capillaries do their job. And then the blood composition, the blood has lots of functions, as we talked about, but particularly it has red cells, which carry hemoglobin. No nucleus, so these are cells that don't have a brain, if you like. White cells have brain, and they're the ones who think and how they're going to fight when they see something weird happening and defend you. And then platelets, again, have no brain, are tiny, that help plug any cuts and bruises. So they're serving you well to stop bleeding once you have a cut. And the plasma has all the messengers and proteins and nutrients in that will help serve your body. They deliver food from your liver to the body, waste products back to the liver, to the kidney, back to the kidney, you excrete. So it's very important. And again, there are things that what we're teaching you will work on this also. So you've got very powerful techniques that are non-medical drug that work on these areas. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the cells again, in the sense that the speed that these extract your toxin is really fast. They're everywhere and they collect the toxins very, very quickly. So, if you run a lot and you get lactic acid, you get a little cramp, if you relax, then, typically very quickly fix it. It's a very rapid and powerful system. And then it'll deliver the salt for the cramps to you, and so your cramp will go away. If you need to build your kidneys because you're drinking a lot, and then it'll send protein, then the kidney will start growing a little bit to compensate. Let's say you've had a surgery or removed part of the kidney, the other kidney gets a lot of protein to grow and compensate. It's a very nice system. And then vitamins go everywhere. The vitamins are very important. So how do you get there? Well, this is the same method. And these are concave discs, but they work better when you oxygenate it. So they oxygenate well, but also when your vessels are not narrow, which is when you're very oxygenated. We talked about how your vessels get a little more relaxed because you're meditating and relaxing with oxygenation. These cells work better. They get to target better. There's no resistance. And that's why you generally feel younger. Maybe you don't look younger, but you feel younger because you're getting a better service to your system and unclog. So it's a very, very nice system. So we're actually playing with all these things. And then the white cell defense is very important because as you get deeper in meditation and yoga with the stretch receptors, as we learn about, we know your immune system improves. We know your cytokines improve. So there's data on that. We have some research of our own. So again, you're now better placed to fight off foreign invaders, infections, things like that, even cancers perhaps. So you're doing a lot of things. So knowing the basics is very important why you're doing it. You're actually making your functioning cells, which are designed by the body, to get and do the job really well, really well. All right. So respiratory, we talked a little bit about this. I'm going to not talk too much about that. We talked about the system, the gas exchange, the muscles, and rating control. And so just a refresher from the talk a couple of days ago. And the image is the same, just to remind you. Now I'm going to go to the next one, which is more the digestive, which we haven't touched so much on, but we will, of course, as we move forward to the more medical part. So the autonomic control is important, right? You have obviously a mouth down to the anus. You're looking at the whole GI tract. It's a big, big organ. You have the palate and uvula and tongue and teeth. Some are, of course, oral surgeons and other people, but nevertheless, it's part of the GI tract. And the pharynx and the salivary glands. All these are very interrelated. Things that produce are good for you. So absorption gets better. So let's say salivary gland works well and makes saliva for your food. If food is already pre-digested, then your system is going to be more efficient. So they're very important. It's one of the reasons why sometimes teaches to chew your food and chew carefully and not rush. If you rush, this doesn't work well. You'll get undigested or less processed in your stomach. Then you might get stomach pain because it's not properly chewed and digested. And the other benefit of chewing slowly is you calm and you're inward looking. So very important areas. And of course, when we talk about that, you might connect your dot with this picture. Liver, we know where the gallbladder lives. Stomach, we talked about. Pancreas is a very important organ. It provides us the enzymes to digest the food we eat and makes a lot of enzymes. So pancreas is a big ally to help us keep growing and maintain weight. The small intestine is basically the area that you digest most of your food and take it to your body. It's kind of like a mixing and digesting and climbing, getting all it needs for your body. So it's a very long. It's also laid out about the size of a tennis court, just like the lungs. So it's a huge, huge organ, though it looks small. And it has a lot of nerves and other tissues, a lot of lymphatic tissue, which is tissue which helps you defend from infection. So it's very important. And it probably has many nerves, not more there sometimes than the brain. So it's like your second brain, as people call it. There's a good reason why they say that. And then the large bowel, which is more to evacuate and extract the last bits of what you need. And as we move forward, even when we knew from before, now it looks like the microbiome that's very important for disease. And so the microbiome areas are something that we should be looking for research if meditation affects the microbiome. So that's actually a project we're doing because we think that may be one way that helps you. But I think that's an area that's very interesting. Okay, so general idea, appendix, anus, so just familiarizing a little bit with the organs, and they come into play with a lot of things. Yoga, for example, and massage, that it comes to play that yoga poses that you do, that you've been taught, like the child's pose, they actually massage your belly, stomach. And the visualization we talked about. So if you've seen this and you're visualizing your stomach pain and where it is, this might give you a better idea where to visualize it. So maybe it'll get better. So it's good to have an idea of where it is and what it does. Okay. All right. So next is endocrine, which is of course very important. Glands and hormones and many of our systems, emotions. This is organs that will be at play, as are your nerves, but these are very important. So if you look at the endocrine system, they usually, the what we call endocrine systems, they don't actually have a duct, way to pour their enzymes or their hormones out to blood vessel. They don't have that. They don't have like a tree, just like the lung has, or they basically make it and go straight to the bloodstream. So that's what we call the system. That's why we label it like that. But then it really coordinates your functions, your day and night rhythm, a lot of things very harmoniously. You know about the pineal gland. If you look at the brain, there's a picture there. It's sitting in the middle, but at the back. Look carefully at the picture. Small, reddish, cone-shaped gland, and it's actually very important regulating rhythm. And if that goes off, your rhythm goes, your wake day night cycle goes off. And it rhythm even in levels you don't even recognize, like your liver, what rhythm they're working at. So it's a very important gland, and a lot of advanced yogis work with the pineal gland. Pituitary gland, which is a bit more familiar perhaps, is more towards the front. And this is perhaps the third eye. And it's hard to know what they mean, third eye, which of the two, but nevertheless, this is a pea-shaped, pea-sized, very tiny, but it has a lot of hormones that affect our development in the first decade, 2 decades growth. It's a very important organ. And again, we can influence that with meditation. Then thyroid, we know that's the insert there, thyroid and parathyroid, very important organs. So thyroid is, of course, your tone, how much fuel you're burning when you're resting and running. Very important. Many diseases affect the thyroid, so we're going to go over that a little bit. Parathyroid is more for your bone and your calcium. And so if that goes wrong, you get a whole bunch of problems with your bone calcium, and that can affect your nerves also. And then, of course, the adrenal glands, which we'll talk a little bit about next slide. And let's see the picture. There you go. So if you look at the lower picture now, the third, there's the adrenal glands, which is just adrenal, which adrenal, which is just above the kidneys. And they're the ones that do your cortisol. And they're the ones when you're scared or anxious or stressed, they produce cortisol to try and help you because they think you're going to be fighting. And the cortisol raises blood pressure and ready to kind of react. But if you're not fighting, not going to walk, or anything, you're sitting in a chair and just stressed, then it causes damage because you're not actually using that stress, right? So then chronic stress becomes a disease because it's going to lay up more sugar, more fat. It's going to mess up your system because things are going to give you fuel to start fighting. But there's no fighting. Well, I'm going to go for a walk or burn any fuel. You're thinking stress, business stress. Then that's why stress gets so damaging because we're not actually using the fuel properly when we're stressed. Yeah, so the glands is very important. And the gonads, we know the endocrine system, the male and the female gonads, and of course, as you know, as you age, they're very important. They can change your mood. They can affect you in many ways. Ask anybody who's turning that menopause age how much it can affect you and mess you up. So they're very important organs, and they also have a separate, independent role every month when you're women. And of course, men also have a lot of issues with gonads and testosterone and adequate dose and level and how decisive they are. So it's a very common error-prone organ where doctors see them for those organs. And again, we can probably help that. And then the kidneys are more a filter system, so they're really not actually glands. So we kind of can talk a little bit about it in the next page. All right, so the system structure and function. So Main role of the immune system, of course, is to get your waste, just like GI tract, the colon. Main role is to kind of get the stool out so you can eat more and kind of process your food. That's already been digested and you're just processing the remnant. Immune system main role is that. So you have the vessels, the aorta that supplies the blood to the kidney, and the vessels, the vena cava is a vein that takes away from the kidney the cleaned blood, if you like. So that cleansing system works like that. And the filter's amazing. It filters poisons, toxins that you eat, but it's got limited capacity. At some point, it's going to fatigue. So as people age, sometimes it starts working, they get kidney failure. And again, diet and a lot of things can help with that. And even some of the poses we're talking about can help with that. And of course, the renal vein, we talked about an artery, adrenal gland we talked about. Then urethra is where it goes towards your bladder and urethra. And urethra gets it out. All right. And then, of course, in the man, you have the prostate, which then has seminal fluid, and the prostate sits behind the urethra, and sometimes you can block it with age. Things that we know very, very well. So that's usually where it works. And there are steps there. Acharya even has steps to help you with that in his book about medical pressure. Good. So again, it's a lot, but it'll get familiar as we move forward. I just want to give you the basics and look at it. And of course, you probably know some, you know a lot. But the idea is to get familiar, because as we start building on this, you'll be ready for the next set of tasks. So the integrated body system consists of complex systems, which we kind of went over, and to maintain health. They're working constantly all the time. And they keep you well, healthy, fit, and manage your workload and societal role. The perception, as we mentioned, was brain's understanding, awareness of the body's position and function, and it gets to that perception that we're really after. The other thing about this, it deepens your understanding of how capable your body is and how neglectful we are for the work it's doing every moment. So your body, of course, is constantly working. It's not another life. It's your life, your body, in the sense that your physical body attached to your atma. But we sometimes make decisions that are not good for the body, and you wonder why, because the amount of work going on and the constant activity. So it makes you a little more thoughtful. What am I doing for the body? What am I feeding my body? What am I putting it through? And, that might lead you to a better path. So it's important to understand that. All right. So I think I'm going to stop sharing. And somebody said, thank you for your slides, but I think I had enough here. So I thought I'd talk with this one. But I appreciate your slides. So you can also post them for people to see. Good. So I have one in the chat. It is, it's a welcome message. Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? Again, I know I went through quickly, but we at that phase of just getting the overview, we'll build on it. You'll get very good at this, don't worry. You'll understand it really well when you get to disease. We'll go over it again specifically for the disease. So this is just the first step towards that.
Jai Chinendra Devendra Bhai. Question about Ida and Pingla. So where are the physical separate nerves? They are located alongside the spinal cord. I didn't see that in your diagram that you presented. Specifically mentioned Ida and Pingla.
Yeah, so I apologize. I presented before. I should probably get the slide from the presentation before. What happened is that left side school called parasympathetic, right? Right side is warm heart, sympathetic. And if you think about it, medicine didn't have that concept, that's a yogic concept. It turned out, as it dissected and found out more, in your brain, the centers are different, and it seems to follow that. So when I stimulate my sympathetic, right, which is the hot side, it affects my right lung or my left. So we now understand that it is sided. So the important message there, that the side that yoga suggests, right, is the same that science is. Now, there's slight complexity because the centers are in the brain, and so how the centers work is what we're working at with yoga. But basically, what's amazing is that the yogis, thousands of years ago, which correct, they got it right. And so, but I have an image. I'll share it while we're talking, and you'll see me presented like a talk or two before. I'll find that, and you'll crystallize for you. Okay, any other questions?
Devendra by Jinendra.
Hi.
The yogic kriyas help us relax the endocrine system and all the systems at the same time. Like it sort of entire body is impacted with those, or is it?
So I feel probably when you talk yogic kriya, there's also levels of competency and which one you're doing. There's some work on one more than the other. Some of you will be the guru about this, but in general, the relaxation, the parasympathetic is common. And what we talked about before, which is a relaxation response, the Herbert Benson, the Harvard guy, and again, you may have missed the talk, but what happens is when you relax, you switch on that relaxation response, which then has all these multiple issues. Now that's pranayama relaxation. When you come to yoga, some poses are said to help your adrenal gland. Some are supposed to help your thyroid gland, your parathyroid. Like we have poses, like for example, someone teaches you pose in the throat. So I think then you go to target those areas. It's not like all everything. You have to then know which area. And to a point, when we get to the medical part, you'll see each disease has a specific area, specific mudra. We have got chanting ability, chanting, and so they're targeting those areas based on Acharya's wisdom and the wisdom information. So I think that there's this basic rational response, which we all feel, and we all feel that the moment we do rational meditation within 5 minutes, we're all in relaxation mode. We just feel so great. That's the basic. But then within that, with yoga and maybe in pranayama and some of the pranayams that someone's teaching us, we can target these organs and work on those. So I think it's like a gradation. Cardiac diseases is different, poses, postures, GI is different. So as you go through the program, you'll start seeing that, and it may become clear to you why Acharya picked one package for this, another package for this. So we're building the stones and so like steps to get to that. Then you'll get the skills for all of them. You'll be able to manage all of them. Of course, we can't do every disease, but we covered a whole range of diseases. So you'll feel that ability to decide. So I think that's why it's such a good course, because we're focusing specifically on that, not just the yoga and meditation, but how it's going to help you medically, both to treat, but far more important to prevent. I'm a much bigger fan to prevent and treat this disease, great, and teach that. But if imagine you apply it early, how you can prevent your diabetes, prevent your heart. So I feel that's where the biggest bang is. So when you get there, hopefully we'll re-emphasize that, and I think you'll see that value.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I'm going to find that slide, but keep talking, keep asking me questions. And anybody else have a question? Otherwise, we can do meditation for Swamiji. I'll just quickly.
Should we start meditation?
This one slide, Swamiji, just so that I can share one.
Okay.
Just so that I can answer the question. And that should be okay. Just take a minute, just a minute. Let me just share one more time. Okay, so this is the one that I want to show you. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like my two talks ago. And you basically have the left, which is a cold parasympathetic, goes left side, right. So this is system 9, you have left and right. But in medicine, it's like 80-20. It's not necessarily completely there, but it certainly fits the yogic concept. And so it goes down one side to the side. But they are separate nerves, separate part of the brain they emerge from. And then they will work their balance. So I wouldn't want to make you think that the sympathetic is bad. We need that. and the parasympathetic is good. We need both, but in our stressed life, we are more sympathetic, and our kids are far more sympathetic than they should be. We don't have that balance. If you remember your parents, all of our parents or grandparents, there was no light at night. There was not 40, they could just have a lamp. So they had hours of darkness, and they balanced their day magically because the darkness we're going to do. And daytime they work, night. So that's this nice split of the day. Now we're lit. Smartphones for the last 100 years have been very much taking away our night or relaxation time. So our balance medically actually is far more too much on sympathetic side. So a lot of disease we see as because of that. And so what yoga is doing, I feel very powerfully, is counteracting that. We can't certainly go back to that and switch the light off, but at least we can balance it with yoga, ancient yoga, to kind of bring us back. Okay, Samiji, that's good.
Thank you.
Start meditation.
My video is getting reverse. Okay, so now it is time for meditation. So thank you very much, Dr. Devendra, for giving wonderful talk in very, very short notice. So in spite of having no time in your hands, you have prepared so wonderful slides with all illustrations and clarity. So that is wonderful. And we have learned about our body system, how it is working. And these different organ systems, they are working after all by the power of our own inner self. So looking at or perceiving all these different systems of body and their functions, we can reach out to our own inner self. So that is the main spiritual purpose of this particular practice of perception of body. So I think all have understood where is what is in our body and how it is working. So now it is the time for our meditation. Sit in a comfortable posture. Keep both the hands in the posture of knowledge. Keeping your backbone and the neck straight. Make your body relaxed. Close your eyes softly. With 5 Mahapran sound or buzzing sound, we will start our meditation. We will practice the same meditation which we have started yesterday. So please take long and deep breath, and with that create the sound with the junctional part of your nose and feeling the vibrations in the cerebral part of your brain. Om.
Relax. Relax your mind, body, and vocal cord. Concentrate your mind on the big toe of your right leg. See the toe from within. Experience all the functions, sensations, vibrations of the toe. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relax. Relax. Feel relaxation in the toe. Now concentrate on each of the fingers. Sole, heel, ankle, calf muscle, knee, thigh up to the hip joints. See the entire leg. Now you are well versed how our body is working from within. Try to perceive all the functions, vibrations. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relax. Relax. Feel complete relaxation in the right leg. Now concentrate on the big toe of your left leg. From toe to hip joints. See each and every part, their functions. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relax. Relax. Experience relaxation in the left leg, in the entire lower part of your body. Now concentrate on the lower abdomen. See from all sides, front, back, right, left, in, out. See the entire part.
Give suggestion to be relaxed, relaxed, relax. Now concentrate on the upper part. See all the organs inside. Experience their functions. See their functions. Give suggestion to be relaxed, relaxed, relax. Now concentrate on the thumb of the right hand. See the entire hand up to the shoulder. See each and every cell, tissue, nerve, bones, muscles. Give suggestion to be relaxed, relax, relax. Now concentrate on the thumb of the left hand, starting from there. See the whole hand up to the shoulder. Give suggestion to be relaxed, relax, relax. Now concentrate in the throat. See the throat from within. See the thyroid, parathyroid, vocal cord. The entire throat. The relaxation of throat means the relaxation of mind, body, and vocal cord. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relax. Relax. Feel complete relaxation inside the throat. Now concentrate on face and your brain. See all the facial organs inside and outside, one by one. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relaxed. Relax. Now see your brain. It is already relaxed. See each and every neuron, all neural connections. Left hemisphere, right hemisphere, brain stem. See each and every part of your brain, all the functions of your brain. As you become conscious of yourself or of your brain activities, they will be normal and relaxed. Relax. 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 Now your entire body, mind and vocal cord have become completely relaxed and stable. Now we concentrate on the alternative nostril breathing perception. Concentrate on the tip of your nose. See each and every inhalation and exhalation. Be mindful to your breath. See how the breath is going on. Who is regulating your breathing process? During inhalation, the navel comes out. During exhalation, the navel goes in. Use your abdominal muscles for inhalation and exhalation. Now practice alternative nostril breathing perception. Samavritti Shmas Friksha. Use both the nostrils equally in breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in through left, breathe out through right. Breathe in through right, breathe out through left. Regulate your alternative nostrils at your will. If your mind is completely focused on breathing process, the body will follow your instructions. Both the nostrils will work alternatively. Breathe in through left, breathe out through right. Breathe in through right, breathe out through left. Practice this alternative nostril breathing perception. Be completely conscious of breathing process and concentrated. Keeping your body more and more stable so that your mind can concentrate on breathing perception. Don't move your body. This practice needs more and more concentration and strong willpower. Breathe in and breathe out through alternative nostrils. If you have no difficulty, you can hold when you have some time after inhalation and after exhalation. Otherwise, you can practice continuously without any holding. 2 long breath and Mahapran sound, we will conclude our meditation. Keep both the hands on the eyes and open your eyes slowly. So, meditation is working at your will.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today. I had a very difficult time today. My mind was all over the place. It was
Don't worry. Some days it happens.
I think it was my lecture that confused you, probably.
Your lecture has confused. Why?
actually, Dr. Devendra, your lecture was wonderful. It was broken down wonderfully. I loved it. Thank you so much.
So, any other thing anybody wants to know?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pranam, Chejinendra, Vandamiji.
Yes.
Yes, it was much better compared to yesterday. Yesterday I was able to only do from my left nostril. Today I was able to do from both.
Okay.
Good. I haven't touched, the finger, but I feel that it's working out really well. I would say maybe close to somewhere 60 to 70% for sure.
Oh, wow.
I use, a little bit of, muscle movement a little bit. Of course, it was concentration and focus as well. But a little bit of muscle movement here and there, maybe jaws, something. But it was working out really well. And I'm pretty sure if I practice, I should be able to get more closer. So thank you very much. And it was really great, today.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
We should have mastery on one. Okay. So which one is more suitable for you? Just you have to focus on that and give more and more time to that.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Any other?
I think the extra time helped. It gave me enough time to get into it. I think it's this 20-25 minutes, maybe more effective than 15 minutes. I think it gave me, ability to kind of really relax. I was like literally, I was just like a statue for a while. Very nice.
I practice a little bit in the afternoon as well, just to see how it works. So I think that's helping me out.
Yeah. So you can see that within one day you have picked up, no?
Yes.
So it doesn't, things are not difficult. Just we have to practice at regular basis and increase the time. If we have, then we have to practice it as much possible as our time permits.
Sure.
And get mastery on one. So one can make you all. Okay, so thank you. So Rakeshji, you have any problem in this particular practice?
No, Samniji, it went well today. I had to first few times do it with my fingers. When it was regulated, then I could do it without any extra help.
Oh, wow. So this is showing that your concentration power is increasing day by day. Okay. And your body is working according to your own will. Okay, Narendraji, you have difficulty any?
At the moment, I got a little bit of sore throat, so it's difficult to do breathing in.
Okay. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, but don't worry.
And try to
Whatever is
concentrate as
possible,
much
just
as I
you have to
can.
go on
Yeah.
practicing.
Okay.
Continue practicing. One day you will get mastery.
Sure, Vandam.
Correct.
Okay, bless you.
Shivani, any other thing? Anita, Shito.
I think it's getting better. The
Okay.
alternative nostril breathing was easier today than it was yesterday.
Oh wow. So it happens. Just a regularity is the main thing with the spiritual practices.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening.
Yes. Okay, so Naina Ben, are you concentrated?